Welcome to day 8 of Training Your Thinking, 21 Days of Mental Discipline. We're going to talk about the subject, Think Before You Act today. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to encourage your friends, share this first of all, and encourage your friends to go to questchurch.com/podcast and subscribe to this particular podcast. I know you're enjoying it, and I'm certain your friends will as well. I'm joined today by my daughter. By the way, my name is Rick Hawkins, and this is my daughter, Crystal Harbert. And I'm so glad she is with us today. Thank you, Crystal, for being here.
You're welcome.
So day 8 is Think Before You Act. How you like this book, first of all?
Love it.
You enjoy it?
Yep, I love it.
How many times you read it?
Probably 3, 4.
3? Well, there you go. See? Awesome. You're encouraging your dad today. There's an old saying, sow a thought and you reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap a destiny. I do believe that there's a certain truth to this. Somehow, most of what happens with and through us begins with a thought. What goes in the mind will eventually come out. I think, therefore I do, and therefore I am. Our life is what our thoughts make us.
Yeah.
Destinies and lives that never fulfill their purpose are typically a result of a lack of self-control. In my opinion, this is one of the greatest tragedies of man. I firmly believe that the person who has no self-control is like a city without walls. That city has no defense. Self-control is really self-defense. The person with self-control is simply displaying thought control. If you can control your thoughts, then you can control yourself and ultimately your life. As we look again at Proverbs 23:7, the Bible says, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. The word thinketh is a Hebrew verb only found here. And it means as he is all along in his heart, so is he at last in his act. It is believed that the mind is so easily influenced that by looking at certain colors, a person can be made to feel a certain way and think certain thoughts. This is called the priming effect. Be careful with your eye gates. Jesus said the eye is the window to the soul. What you look at long enough will become what you think about. Today, be careful with what you allow to get into your mind. What are you looking at? What has your attention? Remember that what you dwell on, you will ultimately live in. I'm going to say that again. Remember what you dwell on, you will ultimately live in.
That's good.
Think before you act. Crystal, I know you have 2 teenage daughters, so this has to resonate with you in
for sure.
some kind of form or fashion. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, for sure. I tell Jayla all the time, she's 15. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And usually when you say something without thinking before you say it, it can be taken, out of context, or it can be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
So you really have to, I tell them all the time, it's great to be opinionated in a way. It's great to have a say in things, but you really need to stop and think before you say what you want to say, because it affects people and it's good for you to understand your own thoughts. When you stop and think about, okay, why am I thinking this? Why do I want to say this right now? What's going on inside of you that's making you think these thoughts? So it's good to stop even before you speak, because, when you speak, then you act. So it's good to just stop for a second and think about what you're about to say or what you're about to do. And it's something I tell them all the time. It doesn't always work, but...
Yeah. Well, it is so true, and thinking slows things down. And I've learned that in the pace of life is really in the hurrying and we're running. Everything is fast paced, that we don't take time to think before we speak and think before we act. If we did, there would be plenty of polite people
Yes.
to go around,
True.
and it would be a nicer environment. So I encourage you today, your eye gates are powerful.
Yeah.
Jesus said it. He said that the eyes are the window to your soul. And, I was thinking yesterday that there's just a real thin line, if there is a thin line at all, between your mind and your soul. I'm almost convinced that your soul could be your mind. Your soul is that reasoning phase between your spirit and your body.
Right.
So the soul mediates between the body and the spirit. And a lot of times, if we'll just listen to our soul speaks. We speak to our own soul.
Right.
David said, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me." So the soul lives.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to really think things through, dwell on it before you act.
I like where you say self-control is really self-defense. I was thinking about that, saying that Justin and I have really taken to heart for our family, and it's what you say all the time: wisdom is never in a hurry.
Right.
And to me, wisdom is self-control.
Yeah.
So when you stop and you think about it, it's for our decision making for our family or financial decisions, whatever, we always tell each other, okay, wait a second. Wisdom is never in a hurry. Let's think on this for just a second. That's our way of using self-control. Like, do we just want this right now, or we want to do this right now, but is it wise to do it? And that's another aspect of thinking before you act, using wisdom before you make big decisions or family decisions.
So it's really true. Self-control is thought control.
Yeah.
If you can control your thoughts, you can control yourself.
Right.
So we love you. We bless you. Think before you act. And we'll pick up tomorrow on day 9, thinking with an attitude. God bless you today.